Good afternoon, readers. This is Tilly here from Tilly's Shelf, and I'm at home in Brighton with my parents, and this is my lovely mum, Ros.
Hello, I'm Ros.
And I have press ganged her into filming a video with me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a Christmas cake according to your mum's recipe, Grandma's recipe. It's the 21st of November now.
Yes.
It's not a Sunday. We'd normally do this on Stir Up Sunday, but we're just doing it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day of the week it is.
Wednesday.
We're doing it on a Wednesday
because you're here.
The day that I'm here, and everyone has to be here to make the Christmas cake.
Or it won't be lucky.
Or it won't be lucky.
If we don't, we'll get to stir it.
At the same time, we're going to talk a little bit about a book that I've been reading that I've been really enjoying, and about Grandma, whose recipe this is. A Very Private Diary, A Nurse in Wartime by Mary Morris, who was an Irish girl who went to London to train to be a nurse. She was evacuated to Kent, where she trained further in Kent, and then she went from Kent to Woolwich to train as a fever nurse, and then from Woolwich she eventually went to the front line, or just behind the front line really, to sort of Normandy and Brussels to nurse wounded soldiers. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in this book, and it's got some kind of relevance, which will become clear, I would hope, as we go along. But first, let's get started on the Christmas cake.
Yes.
So we're diversifying here. We're doing like a recipe video and a family video and a book video all at the same time, and it's going to be chaos, but it's going to be fun as well.
But it's all kind of associated.
Yeah, there's links. There's
connections. Through Grandma?
Yes.
There you go.
So what have we got? So we've got handwritten Christmas cake recipe.
And it is her recipe, but like all good family recipes, it's evolved over the years.
And we do things slightly differently than she would have done them.
Oh, yes, although it's very much based on exactly what she did, and things like making it quite spicy is very much her kind of thing.
Yeah, and we've got modern tools like an electric beater and things like that.
Electric beaters have been around longer than you would think.
Really?
Yeah, electric beaters were around in the 1950s.
I didn't know that. I was surprised in the book actually. She talks about having a hot shower, and for some reason I thought showers were much newer than the 1940s. She really missed having a hot shower.
Yes.
So we've got, I prepared earlier.
Last night, in fact, with the help of Alfred.
So this is 1.5 kilos of dried fruit.
Shall I say?
Will you say yes?
We've got apricots, prunes.
Yes.
We've got a lot of prunes because Alf really believes in prunes in Christmas cake in a big way.
He put all of the prunes in.
All of the prunes went in.
They're both cut up slightly.
Yeah. Cherries.
Cut in half, glassy cherries.
We ended up with
I love
extra cherries because
it's always nice to get some cherries.
Dried mixed peel, which
I'm not keen on. I was very against putting peel in the cake. I am every year, and every year I'm overruled.
She's overruled because all the rest of us think that it's essential. That little bit of bitterness is key. Sultanas and raisins and cranberries.
And we put the last thing we put in was a berry mix
that had goji berries and
some
dried
kind of
mulberries and strange,
fancy berries.
Which you can imagine was not something
that probably would have
that
been
was in the original recipe.
Yeah.
But it was just the sort of thing that she would have loved to put in because she was like very imaginative in what she put in things. It's got dates in as well.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Probably everything. Just a lot of them. She would have put figs and currants.
And we've put figs in before, haven't we? But it makes the texture. You can put figs in if you want to. If you're replicating this at home, it just gives it a very crunchy texture.
Yeah, and currants. If you don't know, currants are like little tiny, weeny raisins. Yeah, and they quite often have like little stones in it as well. Yeah. So both currants and figs can make it seem a bit gritty. But when she was like originally making this in like the 1940s. And 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, but like back in the 1940s, like really currants and figs were like
more of the staple, more normal to put in.
Yes, because you didn't have so many other alternatives. Figs were imported from Turkey. Yeah, they were exciting things.
They came all the way from Turkey.
Dried figs.
So last night we chopped all of the bigger bits up and we put it into a bowl and we drenched it in alcohol. Essentially, what did we put in? We put a mixture. It does say brandy, whiskey and orange juice, but we just went with whatever we had in the cupboard.
The ends of things, it's great for putting
using
ends
up
of things.
any
so
exciting
it
alcohol.
Had a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of port,
some creme de cassis,
little bit of ginger wine,
and some sort of mystery spirit that we weren't sure what it was that was in a flask, but we think it was probably something nice, probably brandy.
It was brandy. It was definitely brandy. It was brandy that came to a festival with us in a hip flask.
Speaking of which, the festival where we got these aprons, we're wearing our matching Taste the World Mad aprons.
In there, so quite a bit. mix it around and soak it overnight, so that
it's now a few more
it's
times.
all like really kind of like moist and juicy and yummy and
really
gorgeous.
It kind of glistens if you look at it.
Oh yes,
kind
glistens.
of looks very luscious.
Yeah,
and it smells very strongly of alcohol.
You can smell it.
Yeah.
So that's on one side.
So then we need 350 grams of butter and 350 grams of sugar. So we're using dairy-free margarine, but the traditional way would have been just butter.
Although when you couldn't get butter, it was like stalk margarine that people used for baking a lot. Like just after the war, you couldn't get butter. So
and actually, there's another recipe that you've got, isn't there? That's like a boiled fruit cake that doesn't really have any sugar in it or much butter at all, and it's like oil and tinned pineapple, which is like a war ration.
Yes. Cook with what you got. We're going with the theme, aren't we? I'm impressed.
This is why I thought it would work.
Margarine in this case. And because this is a not quite vegan cake.
We thought about making it vegan, but we in the end settled for getting some really nice free-range organic eggs.
Oh look, cheesy cake. Just throw some eggs. So this morning we went and had a chat with the hens. That ladies, they were really chatty.
They were really friendly. I'll put a little picture if I can.
They came across the field to talk to us, and they were all like, "Oh, you've come to talk to us, human.
Have you come to feed us as well? No. Well, we'll just peck you anyway."
So these are
happy eggs.
Almost vegan friendly, extremely happy eggs.
Which we're happy with. We're happy with that. And we have tried, I think we did try one year to make this.
And I used flaxseed and it works.
It's just not quite the same.
It's like there are really, really delicious vegan cakes out there that...
Yeah, you can make a fully
Matilda
vegan
is
cake.
A brilliant vegan cake maker and I'm learning to...
I think actually your vegan cake's better than mine. But regardless, you can make lovely vegan cakes.
Lovely vegan cakes.
But this specific
traditional
Christmas cake.
Fruit cake is not the most successful.
We're kind of going for a bit of a halfway house and it's dairy free.
It's dairy.
So I got this book, didn't I, on my way down to Brighton. So I came down yesterday on the train and I was really anxious about missing the train and I ended up with 2 hours spare. So I went to the library and I
2 hours spare is really taking that not missing the train anxiety a bit too far, isn't it?
Well, it is. It definitely is. Just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
So I went to the library and I set up a library account in the city library. I've got one for the university library and now I have one for the city library as well. And they had a display of sort of war-related books, I assume because it's November. And this was one of them and I picked it up. I thought it was in the wrong section and I thought it was going to be, like you say, some kind of historical romance, like a very light read. But I read the blurb and it explains that it is about this young woman training to be a nurse in the war. And I thought, immediately, it just struck me as being something that I would love to read because actually Grandma, whose recipe this is, was also a nurse in the 1940s and when did she start her training, do you know?
Yeah, so she was born in 1919.
Yeah.
And she grew up on a farm in Suffolk, but that was like the depression in farming. Sad, hard times actually. She was very, very keen to leave home and be self-supporting as soon as she could. So when she was 17, she went up to York and was like a kind of almost like a volunteer nurse's aide in a place called The Retreat, which was like a really early hospital for people with mental health problems run by the Quakers.
Wow, and it's really interesting actually because obviously Mary Morris, which is the name of the nurse in this book, she looks after a lot of people coming in with shell shock and she talks about like needing some kind of mental health support for these people and it was sort of very early days in terms of mental health and she sort of talking about how they don't have the facilities and talking about, you know, these people need to go to presumably somewhere like The Retreat.
Yes.
So
just to be like a safe place to recover.
But she also says that they all need to be sedated, which I guess is also part of the sort of changing approaches.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would do for shell shock these days.
Yeah. Well, PTSD is what we call it now.
Yes.
So, sugar. We best do sugar. Yes, sugar.
So she went to.
So she went there because if you went there, they kind of like would feed you and keep you and accommodate you for a year. And it was getting pre-nursing experience.
So without getting paid.
And it wasn't, you went round and did nice things on the wards, like read to people and, you know, which obviously if you think about it as being full of, like...
Yeah, quite valuable things to do.
Yeah. 250 grams.
So we're using dark brown sugar, and then when we've used all of the dark brown sugar, we're going to mix in a bit of...
light brown
sugar. And it needs to be really dark because the end cake is just really,
Nice
really dark and
cake.
rich.
We'll add a bit of black treacle later. I know it doesn't say it in the recipe, but it's a good thing to add. I love the tin so much with the lion on it with the bees. It's very traditional.
We've just been making a vegan Christmas pudding, which we did this morning, and that has black treacle in it, so that's why that's out already. The Christmas pudding is currently like boiling away in the kitchen just through there.
Yeah, steaming.